talking to an audience is easier if you think about just one person rather than like 1,000 people, because you'd be like, oh, I don't know what to say to all of them. But if you think of one person, which is your target persona, you can definitely imagine what could be a conversation with that person.
Jazz amore, jazz amore, jazz amore.
Ciao, my name is Eleonora.
And my name is Rossella.
And together we are
Jazz Amore.
And this is our channel where we share motivational videos, inspirational stories,
Musician mindset and marketing tips for musicians who want to start living from music.
If you want to know our strategy to actually talk and entertain the audience, please keep watching.
Guys, you need to know that you are not only a musician, but you are also an entertainer and many other things. When you go to have some gigs, you have to understand that people need to get emotionally involved in your project, in yourself, on who you are. So if you go there and you just play songs after song, yeah, you might be a very talented musician, they might recognize it, but in order for them to really stay attached to you, to have that emotional hook, they have to know your story. They have to know the story of your songs. So it's really important to talk in between the songs, to introduce yourself, to understand the audience, to make jokes, and to let them be involved in the concert.
This is so true. In fact, we didn't really do it all the time. We actually started a bit late, as always, but because you have to understand the context. So when we started, it was mainly bars and restaurants, so where people are not 100% focused on who you are and your story, and they'd rather have you as a background music. Maybe, you know, they keep listening to you while eating a pizza. So yeah, so we didn't need that a lot in the beginning. There was a very specific example where we actually thought, this is really the time for us where we need to introduce ourselves and talk to the audience and actually be convincing about what we do and what we are sharing with them. And this was a very special event in Canberra. When was it? Last year? Yes, in Canberra. And because we are used to playing in Sydney, people usually know who we are, at least within the Italian community. And then we thought, you know what, in Canberra nobody knows us, like they have no idea who we are, so we should probably focus on a few phrases, a few sentences where we introduce ourselves and actually try to connect with the audience in only one night, because that's the time we had. We didn't have the opportunity to have many gigs in Canberra. It was just one event, and that was our chance to actually create that connection with the audience.
In fact, in Canberra, it wasn't just a restaurant this time. We finally had the opportunity to perform for the Italian comites at the Italian Institute of Culture of Canberra. Canberra. And there was actually a real stage. It was an acoustic concert, so actually in between the songs there would have been silent if we didn't say anything. So, and that is our project, you know, our scenario. So you have to always put it in a context. Like for example, if you are playing a rock concert, of course people might want to start dancing, or you don't really need to talk in between the songs. Maybe you can talk like every 3-4 songs, but for us it was a really beautiful opportunity for introducing ourselves and introducing all the story of the traditional Italian songs that we were bringing to them.
And that's true. In fact, that's part of the brainstorm we did actually when we thought about, okay, what we're gonna say. We luckily had some time because we were driving from Sydney to Canberra, so we thought, okay, let's actually use these 3 hours drive, pretty much it, yeah. To brainstorm and think, okay, what do we actually tell these people now?
We were really scared about it.
We had no idea. We just on the car we realized, oh, we should probably talk about something in between the songs.
Yeah, of course. And we would have done this in English, which is of course not our first language, and probably there was the very first experience for us where we were on stage, so really under the eye of everyone, and we needed to talk in English and to explain everything in another language. It was not easy, we were really scared about it, but you had to do it. Like, you have to wrong, and again, don't be shy, you don't need to be perfect. People will understand, people will connect more with your empathy, with your genuineness. So don't worry about, making huge mistakes. They're gonna love you anyway for who you are.
Yeah, exactly. And that's probably something we used as well, because of course, being of Italian background and knowing that we had an Italian audience, we could use a lot of points in common. And that's what we discussed during our brainstorming in the car. So first of all, we need to understand what were the songs about, we could explain what were the lyrics about of these songs, because of course in Italian, but maybe not everyone could understand them. And then of course something about us, like who we are. We are driving from Sydney, yes, but why? Why are they calling us from Sydney to play in Canberra? What's our project about, and maybe something more about our personal story, not just our project, but the personal story that really creates that famous emotional hook. So yeah, these were probably the key points we discussed in the car that day.
Another thing that is really important when you want to understand which kind of audience you have in front of you is to analyze the kind of persona. This is a pure marketing tool.
Rossella is our marketing strategist.
Yes. So, for example, in that specific concert, we knew that people of the second generation and third generation Italian could come, and that's why even in the choice of the repertoire, we thought maybe we could sing, the very old traditional Italian songs. Why? Because we soon can connect with them. We can ask, "Oh, do you know this song? What this song reminds you?" And they would soon feel involved in your project, in your songs, in your way of approaching this concert.
Yeah, definitely. And also, talking to an audience is easier if you think about just one person rather than like 1,000 people, because you'd be like, oh, I don't know what to say to all of them. But if you think of one person, which is your target persona. Yes, that one. If you think of that one persona, then you can definitely imagine what could be a conversation with that person. So in case of Italian immigrants, what could be a question? Would be, oh, where are you from? And sometimes we found out some people are from the same region where you're from in Italy. So that really created another connection. And it's so funny also to see when people answer from the audience your question, they get engaged, and you create that engagement. And you can then, start a conversation, explain something about a specific singer-songwriter. You're maybe playing a song in the next minute or so, so you have a hook to the introduction of the song, you get people engaged, and then you start singing, and they're all paying so much more attention to actually what you're going to play.
Yes, to the meaning of the song as well. And even if there are people that don't really speak Italian because probably their parents didn't talk to them in Italian, and you explain the meaning of the song, for them, for sure, they already feel emotional because our music reminds them of their parents. But mostly they're gonna feel much more emotional if they know the meaning of the songs.
And something else that I find really nice is to make jokes. Like if you have things in common, that's the easiest thing. And not jokes about them, of course. It's mainly jokes on us. It's like
in between us,
in between us. Yeah, like for example, we had to wake up early to drive to Canberra, and I'm definitely not an early bird.
Not at all.
Yeah, Rossella is, but I'm not. And I'm more the kind of typical Italian. She's not typical Italian.
I'm kind of more Australian now.
Yes, exactly.
Waking up at 5 a.m. and
but that's something we used with the audience, because of course we know most of Italians are like me. So she was like, Leonora, typical Italian, and it's a nice connection with the public, and they laugh about it, they can see themselves, and you can ask the question, is there any early bird in the audience? You know already the answer. You'd be like, Italians, So of course this is very specific to Italianicity, but you can find something that connects to your audience within your own niche.
We hope you found this video helpful, and to recap, what do we need in order to engage the audience?
You need to brainstorm your ideas. So first of all, try to understand who's your audience and define your target persona. Think about things in common you might have with this persona, questions you might want to ask to these people in front of you, and last but not least, find some things in common you want to joke about. So do the brainstorming. We had time to do this in our car on the way to Canberra. You might not be driving for that long, but you need to take some time, and within yourself or with the other people in the band, whoever you want to do this with, but clear out some time just for the brainstorming. That's very key. Thank you so much for watching.
Thank you so much for watching. If you like this video, please give us a thumb up. Thumb or thumbs?
Thumb, è uno. Quanti thumbs vuoi?
And subscribe to our channel, and
if you watch this far, you can write in the comment below the word persona.
Ciao!
Mamma mia, quanta roba devo tagliare in questo video. Questo è tutto un taglio.